Upwards and move inland as we move overnight as well, but also some cloud trying to push in from the west. So overall tonight, generally a bit more cloud around, but under the clear skies we could see temperatures fall close to freezing and a touch of frost first thing for those up early enough. So Sunday morning, generally a bit of a grey start in places, but hazy sunshine too. If we look at the details for Scotland, a few showers are possible across the Western Isles and the Highlands as well, but elsewhere some sunny spells and 1 or 2 showers for Northern Ireland, and a fresh start across northern England with some fog patches, low cloud in the east extending down towards East Anglia. Elsewhere generally a sunny start, though the sunshine quite hazy in places, any fog patches soon clearing. And then through the day on Sunday, we'll generally stay dry across England and Wales. Perhaps an afternoon shower is possible, but some hazy spells of sunshine, largely dry for Northern Ireland. Again, just the odd shower, but showers a little more frequent across central and northern parts of Scotland. Here, temperatures 14, 15 Celsius. In the best of the sunshine, lifting again to around 19, 20, possibly 21 degrees. So looking at Monday, some mist and fog again to start the day. A few showers across Scotland once more, and then generally dry across England and Wales through the day. Best of the sunshine holding on across southern parts of the UK. A few showers developing into the afternoon across the north and the east. And high pressure staying nearby through the week means it looks largely dry and settled and temperatures above average.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you could win our biggest prize of the year so far. You could be driving away with your very own 4-berth camper van. This Benny Van 122 could give you the perfect getaway this year. We'll also give you an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash. Lines close on the 1st of May, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
The GB News audience is different, it's unique, because they see through the nonsense.
We want to debate with each other, we want to listen and maybe learn.
We have a chat
That's what we do. We try and have a chat.
They'll watch my programme while they're eating their tea. They'll watch breakfast while they're busy getting their kids ready for school.
We want to hear what matters to you. What is news for you?
And what's brought you out here today?
What are the biggest issues affecting this particular area?
The audience are the best thing about GB News.
Their friends, their family. They're people who need to have their voices heard.
They're passionate about the channel. They're passionate about what they believe in.
The one thing about GB News is you get a chance to speak.
Talk to me about why so many people have gathered here today.
Do you want to say something back in return? The GB News audience is what makes GB News special.
It's incredible to see.
They shape our programmes, they shape our output, and they shape our channel.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain.
Good evening, it's 9 o'clock. I'm Alex Armstrong. Tonight.
Shortly afterwards, the Argentine forces there surrendered to British forces.
Rejoice at that news and congratulate our forces and the Marines.
Yes, don't cry for me, Argentina. Nothing quite unites this country like whining Argentinians, does it? Well, tonight, I'm exposing the mess that is indeed Argentina and why you shouldn't worry about them invading the Falklands anytime soon because their president is in enough trouble as it is.
I will announce the most significant changes to our asylum system in modern times.
I meant Argentina, by the way. Sorry for the slip-up. To me, it feels like every day this week a migrant rape story has been in the headlines. So why do the left continue to tell us these stories don't exist? Well, I'm going to expose them all tonight.
One thing, Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK, that's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry.
That's right. Will this be the King's finest hour? Well, our monarch is seemingly walking into the most difficult state visit in British history. We've got Prince Harry meddling in US politics, the Falkland Islands, the war in Iran, and of course the Epstein files to top it all off. How on earth can he navigate it, and can he save Britain?
Reopening the strait is a global necessity and a global responsibility.
Now, the final oil tankers have arrived in Europe after the Strait of Hormuz was closed. Are we about to see the worst energy and food crisis since the 1970s?
Do you consider yourself a misogynist?
I love women and I actually understand them.
You think you know better than they do?
They want a guy that can lead them and dominate them.
Well, that, of course, was the famous Netflix Manosphere documentary by Louis Theroux. But are we talking enough about the feminosphere and toxic feminism? We'll debate that shortly. And on my panel this evening, Labour commentator Aisha Ali Khan, political commentator Daniel Knightley, campaigns director at the Taxpayer Alliance, William Yarwood. And what do you think's going on here? Not quite like what you like to see on a check-in, is it? Anyway, look, a huge 2 hours coming up, but we're going to get you news with Sophia Wensler first.
Alex, thank you and good evening. Your headlines at 9:01. US President Donald Trump has cancelled envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner's trip to Pakistan for talks on the war in Iran.
They are fighting with each other. There's tremendous infighting. They're probably fighting for leadership. In many cases, I think they're fighting not to be the leader because we knocked out 2 levels of leaders. But I'll deal with whoever we have to. But there's no reason to wait 2 days, have people traveling for 16, 17 hours. And we're not doing it that way. We'll do it when they want. They can call me. We have all the cards. We've won everything.
It's after Iran's foreign minister left Islamabad earlier today after meeting Pakistani officials. It follows a week of speculation about possible US-Iran peace talks. Meanwhile, 4 people have been killed in Israeli strikes on southern Lebanon. It follows the deaths of 6 people in the area yesterday. Israel's military says it's targeting positions used by Hezbollah. The attacks come despite a 3-week ceasefire extension announced by President Trump on Thursday. Some breaking news now. A mother and her young son have died after getting into difficulty in the water of a West London park. That's according to police. They say they were called to Elthorne Park in Ealing just before 4:30 p.m. today, where a woman and child were recovered from the water. The Metropolitan Police say both sadly died at the scene. People smugglers have launched migrant boats into the Channel just 48 hours after Labour confirmed a £662 million security deal with France. Criminal gangs launched boats south of the area around Dunkirk, where most of the migrant activity has taken place in the recent months. It comes as a top Belgian official has said Britain's deal with France to stop Channel migrants making it to the UK is bad value for money. The family of Virginia Giuffre, one of Jeffrey Epstein's most prominent victims, are holding a memorial service in Washington, D.C. today to mark 1 year since her death. It comes 2 days before King Charles arrives in the US for a 4-day state visit. Miss Giuffre's brother and sister-in-law have strongly urged the King to meet with them, as well as other survivors. But royal sources say a meeting isn't possible while police investigations are still ongoing. The Princess of Wales has laid a wreath at the cenotaph to mark Anzac Day. The annual ceremony commemorates the landing of Australian and New Zealand troops in the First World War. Princess Catherine played a central role in representing the royal family at a service at Westminster Abbey today, laying a wreath on behalf of King Charles. Those are the latest GB News headlines. Now it's back to Alex.
The Falkland Islands are British, they are British today, and they will always be British. And frankly, nothing quite unites us like whining Argentinian losers, does it?
And it's Great Britain. Marvellous forces, every single one of them. It's just been everyone together, and that's what matters. We knew what we had to do. We knew what we had to do.
Just brilliant scenes, and if you heard in the background that chorus of Rule Britannia, you're reminded of something this country hasn't, well, it seems to have forgotten lately, frankly. Confidence in who we are and what we stand for, because right on cue, Argentina is back at it again. President Javier Milei has come out swinging, declaring this on X. The Malvinas, what are they, were, are, and always will be Argentine. But it's a bold line. And it's also complete rubbish, isn't it? The Falklands have never, in any meaningful way or lasting sense, been Argentine. The one time Argentina tried it in 1982, it lasted weeks before Britain responded decisively. The Royal Navy decimated the Argentinians, and our Royal Marines, the best in the world, kicked them off our islands and back into the sea. But Argentina isn't just talking anymore. They're now exploring legal routes, important stuff there, legal routes to challenge British sovereignty. And that only happens when a country senses weakness. And unfortunately, right now, Britain looks weak because Sir Keir Starmer and his right-hand man, Lord Hermer, have done everything possible to undermine British sovereignty at the behest of biased and toothless international courts that, frankly, hate Britain. The Chagos surrender deal is, of course, a prime example of that. And the president of Argentina himself, well, he's not acting from strength, he's acting from desperation. Argentina's economy is in a dire state still, despite all of the reforms he's tried to make. Hyperinflation is at 30% and has been spiralling. It is still up on the last quarter. 20,000 indeed, plus businesses have closed. Unemployment is rising at its fastest rate and tens of thousands of jobs are gone. This is a country so in crisis it had to beg America for a bailout in October last year. And let's be clear, any actual military confrontation is a complete fantasy. Argentina's defence budget is under, get this, under $1 billion. The vast majority of that goes on salaries and pensions, not capacity. They've had years of underinvestment, now worsened by President Javier Milei, and they've left their armed forces in no position to project power across the South Atlantic. So, Britain even in this reduced state, which we can all acknowledge isn't great, remains vastly superior militarily. So come on, lads, try it again. We haven't had a 2-0 win since World War II, and I tell you what, we will go at it again and beat you. So by all means, Javier Milei, you can shout into your little void, you can tweet slogans and posture for domestic applause, but the Falkland Islands are not up for negotiation. And here's a little gift I made to remind the whining Argentinians what the outcome of the last war was.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance.
That's right. Bring it on, lads. We'll take you again. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. Labour commentator Aisha Ali Khan is here. Political commentator Daniel Knightley, his second time on the show. Welcome back, Daniel. And campaigns director. Is that a promotion? Congratulations. Promotion there for William Yarwood. You have been doing the hours.
I've been trying.
All right, look. Coming up at 10 p.m, of course, we'll be talking about a lot more the true hypocrisy of these 3 migrants who arrived in a small boat. But now we're going to talk about the Falkland Islands. Look, first of all, William, I'll start with you. Are we prepared, do you think, as a nation to go to war with Argentina if we needed to?
Well, I think so, yes. I mean, that's not really a massively high bar to have, I might say. I mean, Argentina, like you said, barely spends $1 billion on their military. But quite frankly, even though I have a lot of time for Javier Milei, and I think, you know, actually, although you cited some of the statistics there, Argentina is certainly a better place than it was, obviously, just a few years ago. But this is just saber-rattling from the Argentinian president. Every single Argentinian president does this, and nothing really happens, because the last time they tried something like this, Alex, we gave them a damn good thrashing. And you know what? Even though you were baiting them a little bit earlier, I'll do a bit more baiting as well. Go on, lads, give it a go. I think this country could use with a good bit of a fight in the Argentinians, just like old times.
I do think it's the one thing that unites us, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good old-fashioned war with the Argentinians or the Germans, and the Germans look like they've checked out. The Argentinians are still going. Daniel, look, I think, obviously, I have credited Javier Milei for turning around some of the economic woes of Argentina. But this is, as William said, it's just saber-rattling, isn't it, to distract from what's going on there. They did have to just go cap in hand to Donald Trump for a bailout.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, this situation is hilarious, because I think what they're doing is they're just probing to see what kind of response we're going to give. They've seen how we responded to the situation in Cyprus with HMS Dragon. Obviously, we didn't really get it down there, so they're like, what are you doing? Like, you're getting the Greeks and the French involved in, to take down Shahar drones from Lebanon. And I just think that, it's been 40 years, but I don't know, I think they're biting off way more than they can chew with this one.
Yeah, Aisha, again, I think that the lads here have said it, what I would say as well, which is that it's this Keir Starmer's sort of way of dealing with things. It's international law, it's all that toothless stuff that nobody cares about, realistically. That gets us into this bit of trouble, isn't it? Do you think they would have tried it if we had a Prime Minister that wasn't willing to sail off our sovereignty?
Well, actually, Alex, what you've missed and what the report actually missed was the fact that the Argentinians have been given this opportunity to get the sabres out and to kind of bare their chest because of Donald Trump. And I think this is a really interesting thing that we can't overlook. We've got a president who is lashing out at people because at allies, we talked about the special relationship last time I was here, people that have already always stood by the US, and Trump is not happy the fact that we said no this time. And rightly so.
But, this is the problem I had with Starmer's approach to the war. And I didn't want us to go guns blazing, boots on the ground in Iran type of war. Nobody actually wanted that. But what my point was at the start of this war, that if we don't back America when it's about to change its strategy, it's trying to change the world order, it's trying to become a nationalist superpower. If we don't decide to help them when they're saying, can we just use your bases? Like everyone else around the world did, even the Australians, all of his mates, even the Canadians allowed it. We've put ourselves in this difficult position where we're one of the few nations that's not willing to support an ally.
Alex, you've seen what happens when you have a person who is clinically, in my opinion, clinically crackers in the White House. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's a strong opinion. Strong opinion.
This is a guy who has the nuclear codes, and he is so thin-skinned. He lashes out. I mean, I can't even read his things because I just lose the will to live. This is a guy who, I don't even know what time he goes to sleep, how many McDonald's meals he's had, whatever. And he gets annoyed. And how on earth could we have trusted? We might have supported him. Yeah, OK, we've got this special relationship. Let's you know, honour that. But the moment we say no, he's going to do this. So what he has done, and this is just absolutely shocking, he has decided he wants to punish people that said, no, you can't use our bases. So he has decided the enemy of my enemy is my friend. How can you deal with somebody like that? This is not normal.
What do you make of
There's no trust there whatsoever.
What do you make of that, Daniel? What do you make of Aisha's take on it?
I think there's some valid points in there for sure, but I think if you look at the overall picture of how this thing is being divided up, I think what America is doing is asserting themselves in the Western Hemisphere. They must remain dominant. What we've seen in the form of Venezuela, they're pushing out the Chinese and the Russians and taking them back home effectively. I think this is on a much larger scale to do with the superpowers, and it's to do with the emerging power of China, even though they have an aging population. But it's the Americans saying, no, you're in our neck of the woods. This is how we do things in the Western Hemisphere. We're the big daddy here, and this is how things are going to work. So again, if Trump's getting involved in whether or not we should sort of give away the Falklands or not, I don't know if that's the discussion at the moment, but I'm on the fence about that one, I think.
So William, a few weeks in a row here, I have done my political analysis of what is actually going on in this war, and I think it's a very good ploy for America to become an oil superpower. It's also to attack China. But if you look at it in America's new world order terms, South America, which of course Argentina is a part of, that is part of America's global dominance. Therefore, the Falkland Islands would be very beneficial to America because guess what's around it? A lot of oil. Is there a potential shift here? I think Kemi Badenoch has said this a couple of times. We're blindly falling into the New World Order and not seeing the ground shifting amongst us.
Yeah, I think there's a fair comment there. I think in the past, while of course I'm not exactly a big attacker of America, I do think in the past we have sort of blindly followed sort of global American empire too many times down the wrong roads. And I must agree with Aisha here. I mean, I think this, to some extent, is Trump just reacting against our Iran position. But then there's the more sort of geopolitical realist position that you might have to take, which is, you know, you're either in an empire, you either have an empire or you're part of one, essentially. And you don't really get a choice in which position you're in, especially when you're geographically constrained like we are. We are in the Western Hemisphere, fact. And when we look about who's going to look after our interests, is it going to be the Russians? Objectively not. Is it going to be the Chinese? Objectively not. So actually, in reality, the only superpower that has some of our interests aligned is the United States, because of course Britain did birth the United States. You know, it is essentially at its roots, you know, from the seed of Albion itself. But nevertheless, I think that Trump has given permission to Milei to do this just because he's pissed off with Starmer.
Let's talk about Lord Hermer. Because all roads lead to Lord Hermer, Aisha. Every time we talk about sovereignty or problems in our judicial system, in my opinion, international law, it comes back to one man and his friend Keir Starmer, and that's Lord Hermer. Do you think these two are to blame?
Well, obviously, Lord Hermer has had his own headlines this week as well, and I do feel that obviously he's been singled out because he's the Attorney General, and there's all this damning sort of evidence where he wasn't even sure if these cases that he was going to prosecute had any validity.
Talking about the Troubles stuff and veterans, of course, who were being facing difficult situations in the court.
So I think this situation, I'm going to see how it plays out. Because if he is going to look at, I mean, if you look at the international laws and the treaties that we have signed, there's no ambiguity there. There's a very strong case. There was a referendum in the Falkland Islands, and the vast majority of the islanders decided that they wanted to remain aligned with Britain.
But this is the critical thing, Aisha. This is the critical thing. Javier Milei is not saying he's going to have a military invasion of the Falklands. He's saying he wants to use the law. He wants to use the law to get it. That rings bells to me. That's international lovers. It's the international lovers, international law lovers, should I say, before I get in trouble, Hermer and Starmer. Is it not?
I'm not concerned at all, because obviously they're going to follow the law, and the law said that we have sovereignty, and also the islanders themselves see themselves as British citizens.
Yeah, they do.
So there's no question mark at all, as far as I'm concerned.
What do you think? There's no question mark?
I don't know. I think that when they say that there's going to be a diplomatic solution, you have to look at this more realistically, because we've heard that before, and then you've seen, armed forces showing up. So I don't think that's entirely off the table either. I think that shown how we've been acting over the past few months has shown a lot of weaknesses in our own system.
Yep.
So why would they not respond in kind by potentially using their own military to assert themselves with what they want? I don't see why that wouldn't be an option.
Do you think Brits would fight in a war now for the Falklands?
Probably not. I would say, to be honest with you, I would be more concerned with the resources, because if we look at what our forces were like 40 years ago compared to now, we're 1/3 of what we were then.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the assets to support resources for naval assets to get down there. It's over 7,000 miles in the South Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the resources to do that right now. We can't even get a ship to the Mediterranean, to the Cyprus, let alone an entire fleet with F-35 sitting on a aircraft carrier down there. There's no chance.
Yeah, that's the kind of embarrassing part. Do you think, what can we do about it? Will Taxpayers Alliance, what can we do? Where do we save money to give it to our armed forces?
I think we need to look at the welfare bill, put that into defence. I think we need to look at foreign aid, put that into defence. And I think we need to look at just general government waste and also put it into defence, because, quite frankly, politicians have made the wrong decisions for years, prioritising things that will make the electorate happy, not making a country safe.
What do you think about that, Aisha?
I agree. I think that our armed forces need more investment.
From the welfare bill?
No. I think that, look, let's get people who are not paying their taxes, get them to cough up, because at the end of the day, that money, if we have to pay, I work, I pay taxes, everybody around us pays taxes. Why can't we make the people that are wealthy enough to afford a few...
Oh, we're getting into wealth taxes now. I tell you what, I could do a whole monologue on that.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
All right, listen, we'll leave it there. All I'll say is, if you want the islands, come and get them. Come and get them, Javier. I tell you what, we will put up the fight of our lives. You won't be having those islands ever again. They are British. They always have been. As Kevin here on yours says, the Falklands were British before Argentina existed. The same for Mauritius. Anyway, time for the Great British Giveaway now, and it's your final week to see how you can win our brand new 4-berth camper van and 25 grand in tax-free cash. Here's all the details.
It's the final week to see how you could win our biggest prize of the year so far. Just in time for summer, you could be driving away with your very own 4-berth camper van. This Benny Van 122 could give you the perfect getaway this year, as it comes complete with all of the features you'd expect of a vehicle worth over £67,000. A built-in kitchen and bathroom, dedicated living areas, and panoramic opening rear doors. Plus, you can drive it on your existing licence. We'll also give you an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash. Lines close on the 1st of May, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690, Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. The winner may be contacted live after all entry routes have closed. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
All right, coming up at 10 p.m, I'm going to expose the true hypocrisy of the left, as 3 migrants who arrived via small boat were sentenced after a gang rape on Brighton Beach. And that wasn't the only headline this week. We'll bring up all of them. But before that, you've heard about the manosphere. But we're going to be talking about the feminist sphere, because we don't talk about toxic feminism enough here, do we? So we're going to do that in a debate next.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong Tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Alex Armstrong Tonight. A fascinating report in the Mail today details that thousands of South Korean women are abandoning men by shunning sex and marriage, deeply damaging the country's fertility rate, which is already one of the world's lowest at just 0.8. Well, here in the UK, Louis Theroux's documentary exposed the manosphere propelling the ideology into the forefront of the public's debate, of course. Everyone was talking about it. Now, interestingly, though, a New Statesman investigation found that a similar phenomenon is happening with women across the world, and the country, quite frankly, as well, as their poll found that just 35% of British women under the age of 25 holds a positive view of men. Well, one woman told the focus group that they would not even think about being friends with a man, quote, because they don't see them as human. So tonight, I'm asking, is toxic feminism as harmful as toxic manosphere? Right, we're joined now by journalist and commentator Annette Callow and YouTuber and social media star Pearl Davis. Thank you both for joining me. I think this is round 2 for you guys, actually. So thank you for joining me last time and thank you for joining me tonight. Pearl, I'll start with you. Is toxic feminism a problem across the world, but particularly in Britain?
I would say that women have no idea how good they have it. And women have really turned into spoiled brats. Men are running society. They're doing all the infrastructure jobs, and there's no gratitude or appreciation. It's just endless complaints on how they're not doing enough.
It's interesting, Anna, isn't it? Because we're seeing this rise, and like we saw this South Korea article where women are basically saying they don't want to be friends with men. Do you think that this culture is not being spoke about enough?
Well, I think that it's not a case of it not being spoken about enough. I don't think there's any such thing as toxic feminism. I think people have just got their knickers in a twist. I think women are just being a bit more sensible. And actually,
what about false allegations? What about paternity fraud? Are those not toxic feminism? paternity
I
for
don't
false
think-
allegations. Amber Heard is not in jail. I mean, like, it's easy
If
for you
you-
to say that as a high status woman, right? It's easy to say that when we have easy talking jobs, but there's men that do the dangerous and the infrastructure jobs of society. And women are saying that they're not even willing to be friends with men. And again, they do all of the jobs that allow us to do what we do. There's no gratitude, and then it's just gaslighting. It's like endless gaslighting from high-status women.
It's not gaslighting, actually. So you think it's okay for
Paternity
women
fraud. Is that toxic? Yes
Paul,
or no?
let's just let Annette finish, because I'd like you to respond to what Annette says. Go on, Annette.
I wanted to say, actually, in the UK, laws have not changed very long ago, even just, 1991. Before that, men could happily rape their wives. We have to look at, 1975, the Sex Discrimination Act came in because women couldn't get mortgages or bank accounts without a man's signature. Yes, of course, we're grateful for the infrastructure, but they should be grateful for the babies. We're giving them the babies.
That's not correct. That's not correct.
Yes, that is correct.
It was a different view of history because women couldn't historically be responsible.
Still applies. Women have
one at a time. I'm just going to interrupt very briefly because we've got a radio audience, so they won't be able to hear what you're saying. Pearl, do you want to respond to what Annette was saying, and then I'll pass it back to Annette afterwards?
What she's saying isn't correct, and again, a lot of commentators, they don't understand the historical context. And so she's saying, men needed a man to sign off on it, but it was because they could not be held responsible for debt in the past. So if you take a loan and you legally can't be responsible to pay it off, well, of course, you're not going to get the loan. And so they changed it, but it was just a different way society was structured.
Annette?
Well, that's not quite true, because actually women that used to have money had to give over all. Women from very wealthy families used to have to give over all their money. I mean, this was 100 years ago, but it was perfectly legal for them to give all their money to men, particularly ones that came from wealthy families, and that's why there used to be huge issues with it.
The first legal property owner was in the 1600s.
Oh, hang on, let Annette finish, let Annette finish. Go on.
But the thing is with that is, you talk about men with infrastructure and helping with things like that. But what about if a woman so say you, Pearl, married a man and he was lazy and didn't want to help you with the children and didn't want to work and didn't want to contribute any money. Would you find that an attractive prospect? Because that can happen to people. And when women have children, they get into very difficult financial situations sometimes. So they have to be sure of who they're picking.
Women have easier jobs, so it's not a fair comparison. Like, is me
but would you
talking
be
at
okay
work?
with that?
Let Paul finish.
Is me talking at work? Like, let's be honest. Us doing this job is not the same as the men doing manual labor, right? So it's not really fair to call men lazy when we talk for a living.
Excuse me, Alex is not lazy. He's doing a fantastic job this evening. Leave him alone.
I bet even he would agree that it's not the same as pouring concrete. This is we're in air-conditioned offices. We talk for a living. And a lot of men have done those jobs, and they'll tell you it's easier. But women have no idea, because most women go into industries where we talk for a living, get these inflated egos, and think we're better than men when we're not.
It's not to do with inflated egos. It's to do with women being safe. I mean, if you look in the UK as well, we have, when women become mothers, in the first 5 years of the child's life, they lose £65,000 in earnings. So you can't compare that, because there is a
majority of workplace deaths. Where are you on that? Where are you on that? Nowhere, because it's a lack of gratitude and appreciation.
Sorry, what did you say?
Men are the majority of workplace deaths. Where are you on that? Women are more, women don't care about their safety because they're more likely to die from a BBL than child. If women cared about their safety, they're more likely to die from a BBL than childbirth. And women are signing up to get those. So women do not care about their safety.
Oh, yeah. Millions of women with BBLs everywhere doing the school run. I see them all the time. I mean, I really don't think you have the context here. Most women are spending their money on their kids, and they're not trying to get all of this plastic surgery.
Like, you have a face full of makeup on. That's costs money.
What's wrong with that?
Hair dye. There's nothing wrong with it.
Hello, I'm on TV.
My point is, women, you said women. You said that women don't spend money on them, or you said they're spending money on the kids. No, they're not. They're spending money on themselves. Mothers are far more expensive than children.
Well, are you telling me it's not okay for a woman to put makeup on now?
I didn't say that it wasn't okay. I said it
isn't
costs
really the.
I said it.
All right, I'll let you both give a final sort of wrap up of your views. Annette, I'll pass it over to you, then I'll give it to you, Pearl. Go on, Annette.
Yes, I think women do want to have children. They do want to have a husband, but they want to make sure it's right. In the current economy, finances are not good, so it has to work on both sides. And there's nothing wrong with women saying that.
Pearl?
Men are great at everything they do, and feminists are jealous, and they don't give men the appreciation they deserve.
All right, you two, there you go. A heated debate there. Journalist and commentator Annette Kello, thank you very much for joining me, and YouTube and social media star Pearl Davis. What did you guys think of it at home? Let me know, gbnews.com/your say. Coming up.
One thing, Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK, that's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry.
Will this be the King's finest hour? His Majesty is seemingly walking into the most difficult state visit in British history. But before that, a shocking story. Almost half of NHS hospital trusts are now using non-doctors to fill doctors' roles. We'll be talking about that next on Alex Armstrong Tonight.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
A big talking point across southern Europe at the moment is just how warm it is for the time of year across parts of Portugal, Spain and France. We do have some showers affecting the Canary Islands, but it's the showers with that heat in Iberia that are turning heavy and thundery, starting to ease as we go through tomorrow and into next week. Dry for many parts around the central Med, with the showery rain affecting Greece at the moment, clearing away towards the east. And there's more fine, dry, warm weather to come for many as we go into next week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. High pressure holding on over the course of the rest of the weekend, though we will see increasing amounts of cloud, but it should largely stay dry. And looking at the bigger picture, high pressure anchored to the north of the UK, but extending its influence across many parts. We have seen some low cloud across the northeast of the UK today. This will sink its way southwards and move inland as we move overnight as well, but also some cloud trying to push in from the west. So overall tonight, generally a bit more cloud around, but under the clear skies we could see temperatures fall close to freezing and a touch of frost first thing for those up early enough. So Sunday morning, generally a bit of a grey start in places, but hazy sunshine too. If we look at the details for Scotland, a few showers are possible across the Western Isles and the Highlands as well, but elsewhere some sunny spells. Some sunny spells and 1 or 2 showers for Northern Ireland. And a fresh start across northern England with some fog patches, low cloud in the east extending down towards East Anglia. Elsewhere, generally a sunny start, though the sunshine quite hazy in places. Any fog patches soon clearing. And then through the day on Sunday, we'll generally stay dry across England and Wales. Perhaps an afternoon shower is possible, but some hazy spells of sunshine, largely dry for Northern Ireland. Again, just the odd shower, but showers a little more frequent across central and northern parts of Scotland. Here, temperatures 14, 15 Celsius. In the best of the sunshine, lifting again to around 19, 20, possibly 21 degrees. So looking at Monday, some mist and fog again to start the day. A few showers across Scotland once more, and then generally dry across England and Wales through the day. Best of the sunshine holding on across southern parts of the UK. A few showers developing into the afternoon across the north and the east. And high pressure staying nearby through the week means it looks largely dry and settled and temperatures above average.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversations.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB Newsroom to every corner of Britain,
with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News,
the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB loyalty points are here. They're our way of saying thank you for spending time with GB News. Through commenting on your say, voting in You Decide polls and shaping the debate, you can earn GB loyalty points. Unlock rewards, reach milestones and climb leaderboards. Don't just watch our programmes, come and be part of them. Get started by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/loyalty points.
Welcome back to Alex Armstrong Tonight. I tell you what, that debate has really divided you all on your say. Some of you really agreeing with Annette, some of you really agreeing with Pearl. Lots of disagreement. I mean, that's why we talk about these things on here, because they're conversations you'll never have on the BBC, are they? Whether you love it or hate it, and I know there's a lot of talking over each other. I don't have a mute button. I can't switch them off. Do my best. But I think you learn something new, don't you? You learn something new. Anyway, alarming new research has revealed almost half of NHS hospital trusts are now using non-doctors to fill doctors' roles. The approach involves utilising advanced practitioners who are skilled professionals drawn from backgrounds such as nursing, paramedicine and pharmacy to fill critical specialist roles. Well, the Doctors' Union has criticised the approach, warning it could lead to a potential disaster by relying on underqualified staff. Should we go to my panel on this one? I'll start with you, Aisha, because we, of course, have seen the Health Secretary talk the big talk since they got into office. It's been 2 years in. The biggest thing that was announced was this shake-up of the NHS and getting rid of NHS England, which we haven't heard much about from since. We heard recently he said he wants to put all doctors into community roles. But there's just nothing moving. And we're having to bring all these doctors from abroad to fill roles, even though we have so many doctors trained in Britain, we can't actually fill them. It's a disaster, isn't it?
It is. It's a bit of a mess right now. And these advanced clinical practitioners was an idea that was kind of seeded under the Conservatives, and obviously over the last few years, I mean, there were warnings in place from professionals, from doctors, from people who said mistakes are going to be made, and especially given the workload, especially given the backlog, this is not the right answer. And even if it was, and it was seen as a stopgap, it's still not the right answer because we need more doctors.
Yeah, and William, on funding the NHS, of course, that budget goes up and up and up every single year, but the service doesn't get better. And that's the problem, is that the government are now clearly trying to find sticking plasters or just to fix the issue in the short term rather than actually fix for the long term.
Yeah, because most politicians don't think in the long term, Alex, because they're only basically concerned about the next election cycle and things like the healthcare service, huge bureaucratic systems to deal with, and most of them just don't know how to even start doing that. And also, as we've seen in many times in this country, even if you try a bit of NHS reform, oh, you're privatising it, oh, you're doing this, you can't even touch it with a barge pole. But one of the issues also when it comes to doctors is, you know, the United Kingdom artificially constrains the amount of doctors who are allowed to go to medical school. Yeah. That is completely crazy. Why on earth are we doing that? And then also,
it's a cost measure, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a cost measure.
20,000 quid for a foreign doctor, and it's what, 100,000 for a British doctor.
Exactly, and yet more and more money goes into the National Healthcare Service every single year. Why don't some of that funding be diverted so we can actually unlock more medical places at these schools so that we can have more homegrown doctors, and also maybe try and encourage doctors, British doctors who've moved abroad, say to Australia or elsewhere, to come back home and put their efforts into the National Healthcare Service.
Yeah, this is the thing, Daniel, isn't it? Because people, I mean, we've seen stories, I was just reading that one out there, of I guess, people getting bad advice. Yeah. Getting bad advice, it is really hurting the British public's health, and we see so many billions poured into the NHS more, and of course every government claims we've got record investment, but it's not delivering record results.
No, it's not.
Why do you think that is?
Well, to be honest with you, look, at the heart of all of this, you have to look at this problem that's been systemic for so long, and I think it's propagated on itself, but you've got poor working conditions, you've got growing demand, you've got an ageing population, which is going to put more pressure on these systems. You've got a large exodus of people in that industry leaving the country, finding better options as doctors outside in North America, Asia, and parts of the Middle East. And on top of that, just comparatively, you know, my background background's aviation. I'm an airline pilot, right? You can't have someone that's kind of there but not there. That makes no sense. And I don't think anyone would get on a plane if you had someone that was almost finished with their training but not quite there.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that there's some health concerns here and also some other concerns that I think many people need to have if this was to continue at the scale that it's happening at the moment.
My other worry, Aisha, as well, is that new hospitals. The hospital I was born in 35 years ago is absolutely, I won't say where it is, but it's a terrible hospital. It is literally falling apart. There was a plan that Boris Johnson made to get these hospitals built in 20 years. We're now saying that, is it 2050 we're looking at for 7 new hospitals, despite the fact the population is exploding as well. It is just unsustainable. Everything about that part of the public service is not sustainable.
I agree, and the sad news is that costs are going to go higher and higher. I mean, given what's the Iran war, given the cost full stop. And I do feel that we're not going to hit the targets. We're not going to have these hospitals. And as Dan pointed out, we've got an ageing population. And also, I just wanted to point out, I agree with the majority of what you've just said. A lot of the doctors, I know so many who've stopped, they've just retrained as into the profession. So many haven't actually left the country. They're still in the UK. They just don't want to work at the front line anymore, the coal face, because they're facing incredibly crazy hours. The pay hasn't gone up.
So do you think the BMA are right to strike then?
For the junior doctors, some elements I agree with, yes, but also ultimately the overall, we do need reform for the in the NHS, but in a way that's actually going to be fruitful, actually going to deliver. And again, Will, you pointed out that politicians only care about the election cycle, but we have so many health secretaries coming in and out, and each of them bring their own
ideas,
their own leanings, and actually the people on the ground, we're talking about, you know, the nurses, we're talking about the midwives, we're talking about the porters, we're talking about the people that are cleaning up somebody's vomit. I mean, they're the ones, not just the doctors, sorry, I wanted to say, we need to talk about the NHS altogether. We talk about doctors a lot, we give them all that attention, which obviously they save our lives, but they would not be able to do their jobs without all these people
that's true.
supporting them.
No man's an island.
To be part of the equation as well.
Totally agree. Well, do you think that the NHS needs ground-up reform? Because it is something, as you alluded to, it's really hard to do in Britain if you're not Labour.
It does. I think genuinely it does, and I think when Labour came into power, I was quite, I wouldn't say thrilled, but interested in what Wes Streeting was trying to do and some of the reforms he was trying to push forward. And it's sort of like, you know, only Nixon can go to China, only Wes Streeting could possibly reform the NHS. But like, we talk about salaries for doctors and nurses, let's talk about salaries for senior managers in the NHS. We at the Taxpayers Alliance found that there were over 1,600 senior managers receiving over £100,000 in total remuneration, and 350 of those senior managers earned more than the Prime Minister in salary alone. So there's quite a lot of backroom waste and backroom bureaucracy we can get rid of, and also in many cases there's no link between performance and pay, and that needs to change.
I was a contractor in the NHS, the operational part, the headquarters, should I say, a building that was 7 stories tall in the heart of London. Made no sense, by the way, that it was literally in Victoria, and all I could see around me was a bunch of office people all being paid exceptionally well to do very little. That was my experience. I'm not saying it's the same experience everywhere. I'm sure there's lots of people in the NHS who do great work. In fact, I know my cousin does. She's amazing. She's a nurse, does incredible work in very difficult conditions. An NHS England spokesman said this: NHS guidance is clear. Advanced practitioners are highly skilled practitioners and are valued members of NHS teams alongside doctors. These roles should not replace the role of doctors and should only be used in line with their competence and qualifications, and all staff are able to raise concerns where they're worried about patient and staff safety. A spokesman for the Royal College of Nursing said advanced nursing practice is highly skilled, delivered by expert registered nurses, and is underpinned by a master's level education and a comprehensive range of knowledge, skills and capabilities. Health Secretary Wes Streeting last month announced a new intensive recovery programme targeting the worst performing providers, sending in best leaders and, quote, delivering the structural changes necessary to get them back on track. No more turning a blind eye to failure. All right, coming up next.
You know, one thing, Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK, that's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry.
Well, King Charles has got quite the mess on his hands. Is it going to be his finest hour when he goes over to America? Do you think he can save Britain? That's coming up next.
I'm Michelle Dewberry. This is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here. GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it. Don't get this on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk then? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From court mornings
to warm family brunches,
from football to tennis in the car,
in the kitchen.
GB News breakfast is there with the stories you need and the conversations that matter.
Anyway, let's talk business.
Well, it has been a historic night in British politics.
It's astonishing, isn't it?
We're here again to start your day just right.
GB News Breakfast.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
Well, it's the most significant trip of King Charles's reign so far, and on Monday he and the Queen will travel to the United States for the first time as monarchs. We've got Prince Harry meddling in the United States, we've got the Falkland Islands, the war in Iran, and of course the Epstein files. How on earth can he navigate it, and can he save the special relationship? Well, let's get the take of Editor-at-Large for the Mail on Sunday, Charlotte Griffiths. Charlotte, such a pleasure to have you back on the show. The King has got quite a lot on his hands for this trip, hasn't he?
Yes, you did quite well listing some of the elephants in the room there, and I've got a couple more to add to the list. Falklands, the Pope, the fact that today there was a vigil for Virginia Giuffre, and he's arriving just a couple of days later. The whole thing is absolutely fraught with difficulty from start to finish. It's going to be a thankless task, I think, as well for Charles. And, you know, there's a lot of commentary and imagery in the newspapers today of Charles walking along a tightrope. And, you know, I have to say, he really, really is. And it's going to be fiendishly difficult for a man that's also suffering from cancer, let's not forget. So he's going to have to really be on his A game and sharp as ever.
How does he go about this, Charlotte? Because these are quite difficult topics to speak to someone like President Trump about. Let's face it, we've seen President Trump in the Oval Office before. He is quite defensive and he can go on the attack. This is a very difficult tightrope for the King to do this. Does he do this in formal diplomatic settings, or are these things sort of done in more quiet social environments with the President one-on-one?
Well, it's been so carefully choreographed for this exact reason. So a lot of their chats will take place behind closed doors. And I think that the palace aides are incredibly anxious that Trump could go off on a rant. And the problem is with someone like Trump going off on a rant, and we're used to it, is that a member of the royal family cannot issue any kind of riposte. You know, you cannot snap back. You can't answer back if you're a member of the royal family. This has always been the problem with Harry throwing grenades at the royal family, is they can't answer back. They can't defend themselves or defend anyone else. So if Trump does go off on a rant, Charles will just have to sort of murmur, nod. I mean, it really will. It could be incredibly awkward to watch. So I think they're right to keep it behind closed doors. And the other thing that aides are really worried about is US reporters just shouting out a question about Epstein or Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, or anything really, you know, climate, that would leave the king in a very awkward position. I think he's going to be very reliant on Camilla being by his side for a lot of it, because she's an amazing sort of diplomat and able to smooth over tensions when things like this crop up. But yeah, it's not without risks. It's highly risky.
And very briefly, Charlotte, as well, it doesn't help that Prince Harry has been getting involved in politics, seemingly, in the United States.
The thing that's completely mad is that Harry directly challenged Trump just before this visit, and then Trump said, oh, by the way, how is he and how's his wife? You know, i.e. he hit back. And of course, that's two of them battling it out, and Charles stuck in the middle yet again.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much, Charlotte Griffiths. I'm going to have you back on to talk about the digesting all of it if it goes well. Fingers crossed. Thank you very much, Charlotte Griffiths, for joining me. The palace has previously indicated that the King and Queen will not be able to meet Epstein's victims because of ongoing investigations in Britain. Right, look, next, I'm going to expose the true hypocrisy of the left as 3 migrants who arrived via small boat were sentenced after a gang rape, basically, on a Brighton beach. OK, I will see you in just a tick.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. High pressure holding on over the course of the rest of the weekend, though we will see increasing amounts of cloud, but it should largely stay dry. And looking at the bigger picture, high pressure anchored to the north of the UK, but extending its influence across many parts. We have seen some low cloud across the northeast of the UK today. This will sink its way southwards and move inland as we move overnight as well, but also some cloud trying to push in from the west. So overall tonight, generally a bit more cloud around, but under the clear skies we could see temperatures fall close to freezing and a touch of frost first thing for those up early enough. So Sunday morning, generally a bit of a grey start in places, but hazy sunshine too. If we look at the details for Scotland, a few showers are possible across the Western Isles and the Highlands as well, but elsewhere some sunny spells. Some sunny spells and 1 or 2 showers for Northern Ireland. And a fresh start across northern England with some fog patches, low cloud in the east extending down towards East Anglia. Elsewhere, generally a sunny start, though the sunshine quite hazy in places. Any fog patches soon clearing. And then through the day on Sunday, we'll generally stay dry across England and Wales. Perhaps an afternoon shower is possible, but some hazy spells of sunshine, largely dry for Northern Ireland. Again, just the odd shower, but showers a little more frequent across central and northern parts of Scotland. Here, temperatures 14, 15 Celsius. In the best of the sunshine, lifting again to around 19, 20, possibly 21 degrees. Looking at Monday, some mist and fog again to start the day. A few showers across Scotland once more, and then generally dry across England and Wales through the day. Best of the sunshine holding on across southern parts of the UK. A few showers developing into the afternoon across the north and the east. And high pressure staying nearby through the week means it looks largely dry and settled and temperatures above average.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you could win our biggest prize of the year so far. You could be driving away with your very own 4-berth camper van. This Benny Van 122 could give you the perfect getaway this year. We'll also give you an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash. Lines close on the 1st of May, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. message or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel. Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good evening, it's 10 o'clock. I'm Alex Armstrong. Tonight.
Shortly afterwards, the Argentine forces there surrendered to British forces.
Rejoice at that news and congratulate our forces and the Marines.
Go on, try it again, lads. Try it again. We love a 2-0 victory here in Britain. Nothing, though, quite unites us like whining Argentinians, does it? Well, tonight I exposed the mess that was Argentina and is Argentina, and why you shouldn't worry about them invading anytime soon, because their president is in enough trouble as it is.
I will announce the most significant changes to our asylum system in modern times.
Well, it seems like to me this story, these migrant rape stories have been in the headlines almost every day. So why do the left continue to tell us that they don't exist? Well, I'm going to expose it all on the show in just a few minutes' time.
One thing, Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK, that's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry.
Will this be the King's finest hour? Well, our monarch is seemingly walking into the most difficult state visit in British history. We've got Prince Harry meddling in US politics, the Falkland Islands, the war in Iran, and of course, the Epstein files. How on earth can he navigate it, and can he save the special relationship?
Reopening the strait is a global necessity and a global responsibility.
And this is the story that you should really be worried about, because the final oil tankers have arrived in Europe from the Strait of Hormuz. And of course, that remains closed as it is today. Are we about to see the worst energy and food crisis in Britain since the 1970s? And of course, I'll bring you up to date as Donald Trump cancels peace talks in Pakistan again. And get this, juicy stuff breaking right now on the front page of the Daily Mail. Rayner, it's now or never to kick Keir out. Bombshell stuff. On my panel this evening, a very tiny Aisha Ali Khan in the middle there. Sorry, Aisha, we'll get your chair sorted. Political commentator Daniel Knightley, campaigns director at the Taxpayers Alliance, William Yarwood. And what's going on here? That is not what you want to see checking into your hotel, is it? Listen, we've got a huge hour coming up, but your news first with Sophia Wensler.
Alex, thank you and good evening. It's just gone 10 o'clock. These are your headlines. US President Donald Trump has cancelled envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner's trip to Pakistan for talks on the war with Iran.
They are fighting with each other. There's tremendous infighting. They're probably fighting for leadership. In many cases, I think they're fighting not to be the leader because we knocked out 2 levels of leaders. But I'll deal with whoever we have to. But there's no reason to wait 2 days, have people traveling for 16, 17 hours. And we're not doing it that way. We'll do it when they want. They can call me. We have all the cards. We've won everything.
It's after Iran's foreign minister left Islamabad earlier today after meeting Pakistani officials. It follows a week of speculation about possible US-Iran peace talks. Meanwhile, 4 people have been killed in Israeli strikes on southern Lebanon. It follows the deaths of 6 people in the area yesterday. Israel's military says it's targeting positions used by Hezbollah. The attacks come despite a 3-week ceasefire extension announced by President Trump on Thursday. A mother and her young son have died after getting into difficulty in the water at a West London park. Police were called to Elthorne Park in Ealing just before 4:30 p.m. today, where a woman and a child were recovered from the water. The Metropolitan Police say both sadly died at the scene. A social media influencer has died after allegedly being run over by a former X Factor finalist outside a nightclub in Soho. 32-year-old Claudia Glam, whose real name is Claudia Zakshevskaya, was injured along with 2 pedestrians after they were struck by a car in London Soho in the early hours of the morning on Sunday, the 19th of April. The former X Factor finalist, Gabrielle Carrington, appeared in court this week and was charged with attempted murder. That will now be amended to murder. People smugglers have launched migrant boats into the Channel just 48 hours after Labour confirmed a £662 million security deal with France. Criminal gangs launched boats south of the area around Dunkirk, where most of the migrant activity has taken place in recent months. It comes as a top Belgian official has said Britain's deal with France to stop Channel migrants making it to the UK is bad value for money. The Princess of Wales has laid a wreath at the Cenotaph today to mark Anzac Day. The annual ceremony commemorates the 1915 landing of Australian and New Zealand troops in the First World War. Princess Catherine played a central role in representing the royal family today at the service at Westminster Abbey, laying a wreath on behalf of King Charles. Those are your latest GB News headlines. Now it's back to Alex.
There's no evidence that asylum seekers are sexually assaulting women and girls, is there?
Secondly, sexual assault is a deeply, deeply awful and tragic thing that we need to prevent and stop. But there is absolutely no evidence that the people who are sexually assaulting people are people seeking asylum. And
I'm sorry, there is. There's
convictions.
There is convictions.
I mean, you can't make it up, can you? It is moronic what he just said. That was, of course, Zach Polanski on the BBC in November during a debate on asylum seekers. And this is an argument I've heard time and time again peddled by those on the left. Well, I've got multiple stories from just this week that I think are going to prove them completely wrong. Charged this week, an Afghan illegal migrant paedophile who kidnapped a 7-year-old British girl and dragged her into a taxpayer-funded asylum hotel room and sexually assaulted her, and he's been sentenced this week. A 7-year-old girl. What makes this so much worse is that during his asylum application, he admitted to authorities that he worked for the Taliban since he was 10 years old. So we've got illegal migrant, Taliban rapists, paedophiles running around Britain. And of course, we can't deport them, can we? He only received 2.5 years in prison, which means he'll likely be out in just over a year. That's one. Here's some other stories from this week for the left to ponder over. 3 migrants have been found guilty of gang raping a woman after dragging her to a secluded beach and laughing as they assaulted her and degraded her. The full details, which are too graphic to include on this broadcast this evening. They are Egyptian nationals targeting the woman after she became separated from her friends. By the way, Egypt's not at war, the last time I checked. And here is one of those rapists laughing as he leaves court. He wouldn't be laughing if we had the death sentence, would he? By the way, as I said, Egypt is a safe country. These illegal migrants should never have been allowed to stay more than 30 seconds in Britain before they got the chance to rape one of our women, should they? Then there's the 15-year-old African migrant who raped a teenage girl in a park as she walked home from a night out, and he's been jailed for more than 5 years this week. The 17-year-old victim was subjected to horrific attack near a tennis court in Worcester on August the 10th last year. So for all of those on the left, carrying their prepaid printed banners with "Refugees Welcome Here" on it, these are the sorts of people you are advocating for. When you say these stories don't exist, I don't know what sand you've buried your head in, frankly. It is bonkers. Until we stop the benefits, scrap the Human Rights Act and the ECHR, as well as start the mass deportation of everyone that came to this country illegally, these stories won't end, and women and girls are not safe in Britain. It is an absolute disgrace. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. Labour commentator Aisha Ali Khan, political commentator Daniel Knightley, campaigns director at the Taxpayer Alliance, William Yarwood. William, I'll start with you. These stories have been going on and on and on and on and on. The taxpayer bill goes up and up and up. Yet people on the left are constantly saying refugees welcome here. They protest at people who local communities, and we've seen this in certain parts of the country, haven't we, where there's hotels have popped up and the local community have decided they want to protest against it, and these people are bussed in from the major cities, aren't they, to counter-protest and cause trouble. How on earth do we solve this crisis?
By detaining and deporting every single illegal migrant who's come to this country in the last few years. It's really as simple as that. I mean, you're right, the taxpayer is picking up the bill for all of this. The National Audit Office estimated that the asylum accommodation costs by the end of this decade are going to cost taxpayers £15.3 billion. £15.3 billion. That's not a small chunk of change. And quite frankly, I have seen nothing from this Labour government and saw very little from the last Conservative government on how to properly deal with this. And the anger is palpable. The anger is real, and when people see stories like that, it just hardens their view that this needs to be solved. And it's not helpful for people like Zach Polanski and politicians more generally to try and dismiss these problems and say, oh, it's not going on, there's not a big problem here, there's other problems we need to solve. This is a palpable issue that's the top of everyone's agenda, and quite frankly, they're right to have it at the top of their agenda, because it's not just the unfairness that's being caused, obviously, with legal migration versus illegal migration, it's also the lack of safety that we know about these people who come into our country who are making women and girls in our country fundamentally unsafe.
Yeah, Daniel, I saw that picture of that rapist laughing, that illegal migrant rapist laughing the other day, and it just made my blood boil. Yep. You know, these are people that are, first of all, committed a crime by breaking into Britain, in my opinion. That is, I think, law, actually. Then they go and be put up in taxpayer-funded hotels. They're paid for benefits. They've got cash in their pockets, more than a lot of people who are struggling in this country do. Then they rape someone and commit a crime. Yep. And we can't even deport someone.
No, it's absurd. And to be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned, these people should be castrated and then deported. They should not be staying at taxpayers' expense in any of our prisons. You know, we're operating at close to 99% as it is right now in our prisons. We need to repeal the Human Rights Act, Article 3. We need to completely dismantle the ECHR to get these people out of here. They shouldn't be here at all. Yeah. At all. Yeah.
Aisha, what do you make of all of this? Because it seems to me the medicine that is necessary for Britain to deport these people is going to have to be tough because they keep on coming back. There was lots of other stories I wanted to include in this tonight. There's one, a Romanian, one of the men who was part of a Romanian rape gang who was deported, and he came back, and the only reason we found him was because he applied for benefits again, which shows you the draw is benefits, is it not?
I think, first of all, the case, the Brighton Beach rape case, horrific, and this is, I mean, look, the numbers are there, the cases are there. We are seeing illegal migrants coming to the UK, and the vast majority of them are here. I mean, obviously, they've come into the country, they've tried to apply for asylum, they're waiting. Shabana Mahmood's made it really clear that she's tackling this. They're going to get deported, they're not going to be allowed to appeal and prolong their stay, and so on. But people like these rapists, they're monsters.
They're laughing at the sentences.
Not only do they traumatise the victims and leave the victims with a lifelong of trauma, and that's just that horrific experience, but also people that have come here with a genuine migration routes, we're all basically lumped together. And so when obviously we've seen people say, well, let's just kick everybody out and we're going to be safe. First of all, that's really unfair, because the people that are behaving in this monstrous way, they are responsible. And if they were deported back to Afghanistan or Iran or Egypt or whichever country they've come from, Romania, majority of those countries have Sharia law, which and they will be punishable by death.
I don't care. I don't care that these men are punished by death. I don't care.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying that. I'm completely. If they were in their home countries and they behaved like this, they would face hanging. They would face shooting, wherever it is. And you know what? That's what makes me so angry, because they're not safe. The victims, women and girls, are not safe, whether they're in this country or whether they're in their home country.
But I get that, but the problem, Aisha, is that when I'm not talking about safety of women and girls in Afghanistan. That is Afghanistan's problem. My problem is that there are people breaking into this country and they're using the Human Rights Act to protect themselves. They're using the ECHR to avoid deportation. Surely, when you see these stories... Well, no, but she has said she's going to be tougher, but not on the things that are actually stopping them from being deported.
So this is, I mean, again, look, we've got these new policies in place. Things are moving really quickly. A lot more people have been actually deported in the last few years. And obviously, the deterrent, I've always said this, we need a better system where
Do you think we should leave the ECHR?
No.
Do you think we should reform the Human Rights Act?
No.
Those are the problems.
The fundamental issue with that, though, is that these things were set up after the Second World War. We are living in a very different time now. That was 80 years ago. So the same rule doesn't apply with these laws that we have now surrounding the ECHR and Article 3 and many other articles under the Human Rights Act. We have to repeal this stuff and reevaluate the reality of what's going on now, not what happened after the Second World War.
Right, and the British people want results. They don't want to hear, like, oh, well, we need to just sort of fiddle around with things. They want a genuine results and genuine solutions to the actual problems that, Shabana Mahmood, I quite frankly, hasn't... I don't think she's outlined that really much at all.
No.
So why wouldn't you want to leave the ECHR?
So I mean, you've pointed some things out, obviously, that the law has been used, abused in some cases of people, getting their stay, because I think there's a case where the child, one of the
it was a man who threatened to bomb this London Stock Exchange, a Bangladeshi terrorist, a man who'd been in prison, who couldn't be deported because of his human rights. Do you see this is the problem I've got with it, Aisha, and I'm all for human rights, trust me, I really am, but not when my rights are, my safety is put at the back of someone like this man who is an Islamist terrorist who doesn't belong in this country in the first place.
So, again, I was trying to make the point that people have exploited the Human Rights Act. People have exploited the whole system. And that's something that Shabana Mahmood has highlighted. She's accepted that people saying that we can't leave the country because our child wants the chicken nuggets here. This was actually a case.
It was a famous story.
So, and she's highlighted this. And
she has, but she's not changing it, though.
But
that's the problem.
She has changed it. We look at the number of 60,000 people have been deported.
But how many of those are illegal migrants? Most of them are not illegal migrants.
Well, this is the obviously, we do recognise it's a problem. We do recognise these people need to leave. If they've come here in an illegal manner, I mean, some of the people have genuine reasons to be here. And this
I'm not saying it's all of them, by the way. I'm not saying it's all of them, but when you see those boats come in, you know, you see them come in, they are always full of men. There's the odd woman and child in them. It's a small percentage. It's a very, very small percentage.
At the height of the Syrian civil war, there were lots and lots of refugees that were coming over.
Daniel, do you think that if we reform the ECHR and leave it and reform the Human Rights Act, do you think that will stop, or do you think we need to go further?
I think we need to go a step further. I don't think that's going to be enough, because it's just talk and it's legislation, but we need to see action. We need to see people take affirmative action and actually start doing things about this. And we've got to be able to call a spade, and we're not doing that at the moment. And the longer we keep doing this, the longer we keep pretending that this is all, you know, not happening, and we're suffering from what I call an extreme form of suicidal empathy right now. We have got to address the objective truth of what's going on so we can tackle this issue objectively. And our main concern is national security and safety. You know, for example, if you look at the caseload of Islamist extremists in this country, it makes up 75% of MI5's caseload. You know, that's anywhere between 36 to 42,000 people. We foiled no less than 20 terror plots last year alone, thanks to Britain's finest in the form of Scotland Yard and MI5. Like, you know, and that was a threat to life. That was imminent. One of those was on a competing news channel. They had the guys interrogated on national TV. So this is not a fringe minority group anymore. This is the general consensus now. We have to start addressing this and calling a spade.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Toughness, and the British people demand solutions. They are sick to death of seeing their money go towards these hotels, go towards their benefits, and also sick of paying for these people in prisons. You're quite right to mention the fact that we're at prison capacity. I think 13% of our prison population is foreign-born. And actually, quite frankly, though that's 13% far too high, all of them should be sent back to their countries of origin. Don't care where they're from, because if you've broken the law in this country, you have lost the right to be in this country. And you should not have received a single penny of taxpayer cash, and taxpayers should not be having to pick up for 3 meals per day for rape gang perpetrators, murderers, rapists, the works.
Yeah, indeed. Well, look, GB News contacted the Green Party for comment, but we're yet to receive a response. On migration policy, Zach Polanski told the Times newspaper in December, we need to make racism unacceptable again. People from Ukraine have rightly been welcomed into the country with open arms, but where is the same hospitality to the Sudanese or the Eritrean people? Of course, people will be concerned about heinous crimes, whether that's from a migrant or someone born in Britain. But that's a deliberate muddying of the conversation about lots and lots of people who are fleeing war and persecution, who are stuck in Calais. On Britain's asylum system, a Home Office spokesperson said the Home Secretary is taking tough action, removing incentives that draw people here illegally, scaling up removals and revoking the legal duty to provide asylum seeker support. We've already made refugee status temporary and are subject to review every 30 months. Ms Mahmood previously said that withdrawing from the ECHR would put Britain in a club with 2 other countries, Russia and Belarus. She said she believed the government could hold the line on defending human rights in the face of many political pressures. All right, look, time now for a great British giveaway. You know the deal. It's a 4-berth camper van, 25 grand in tax-free cash. Here's all the details.
It's the final week to see how you can win our biggest prize of the year so far. Just in time for summer, you could be driving away with your very own 4-berth camper van. This Benny Van 122 could give you the perfect getaway this year, as it comes complete with all of the features you'd expect of a vehicle worth over £67,000. A built-in kitchen and bathroom, dedicated living areas, and panoramic opening rear doors. Plus, you can drive it on your existing licence. We'll also give you an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash. Lines close on the 1st of May, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. The winner may be contacted live after all entry routes are closed. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
All right, look, coming up.
Reopening the Strait is a global necessity and a global responsibility.
Yeah, really big concern here because after the Strait of Hormuz was closed, the final oil tankers that left at that point in time have now reached Europe. So the question is, are we about to see the worst energy and food crisis since the 1970s? And of course, I'll bring you up to speed on what's going on in Iran too. And very soon, we'll be talking about that bombshell headline from the Daily Mail. Angela Rayner says, apparently, it's now or never to kick out Keir. That's not good for the Prime Minister. All coming up next.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it. Don't get us on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. We're going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
School uniforms are much more than clothing. They are about signalling a seriousness about learning and behaviour, particularly for older children. I think it is a little bit different with the youngest ones, where we want to encourage them to run around, burn off some energy at break time. But generally, this slide towards casualness in our society, and I think this does reflect that a little bit, that everybody should be comfortable. Comfort and sort of casualness should be the order of the day at all times. And I actually think that there's a time and a place for that. Probably on your sofa at home. It's it's when you're lounging around. But when you're at school, wearing a smarter uniform as you get older in particular does create this air of respecting your environment, respecting yourself, and respecting what you're there to do.
The problem is it can't be a one-size-fits-all. I went to a boarding school where they had a very traditional uniform, but even I have to concede that the environment in which I was educated, it was conducive to following the rule of law. There was a hierarchical system where there's the headmistress, there's the teacher, there's the academic staff, there's the pastoral staff, and everyone follows the law. That's the way that institution worked. But that governmental system doesn't work with every kind of school. And what you also have to take into account is that listen to educators. They are there with the children 24/7 when they are in school. And this discussion on a flexibility towards uniform is reflected by what is best for the children. You want children to not be lethargic. You want them to not be sedentary. They need to be more active. They have to have the kind of uniform that makes that easier for them because they feel freer in those uniforms.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking in the last few hours, United States President Donald Trump has cancelled envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner's trip to Pakistan for talks on the war with Iran. So, the big question for all of us is, what does it mean for us here at home in the UK? Well, as the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz continues, just how close are we to running out of petrol and critical supplies that come from the production of petrol? Well, according to the UK Oil Watch, Britain has reserves for just 29 days worth of petrol. By the way, we're the only sovereign country in the G7 not to have our own sovereign oil reserves. That's 23 days of diesel, 37 days of jet fuel and 14 days of heating oil. But, big but here, British farmers are struggling to sustain their businesses as fuel prices spiral out of control, with the latest figures showing petrol at 157 pence per litre. One of them's joining me now, coordinator at Farmers for Action, William Taylor. William, thanks for joining me on the show this evening. I really appreciate it. We are staring down the barrel of something quite severe, aren't we? Not only is the price of petrol going to impact what you do and what farmers do, but also we're looking at the dry drying up of critical fertiliser as well that's needed for harvests?
Well, of course, farmers are very fuel dependent. We use red diesel in the tractors and some of the other vehicles, but we also use a lot of clear diesel in the road-going jeeps that tow the livestock trailers and do all that work. And of course, any of the farm vehicles that are going a distance are all on clear diesel. So we're hit from all sides. And then we have the issue of fertiliser that's liable to land on top of us as this year moves on.
Indeed. And we talk about how fuel impacts you, of course. It's got to go into your vehicles to do all those sorts of things. Do those costs get pushed down to the consumer, or are those things you have to also take a hit on top of course, things like inheritance tax?
Well, look, I would like to describe to you the position that farmers find themselves in.
Please do.
And if you take it that farmers are in a boxing ring, now, initially, for decades, we've been hit with abysmal farm gate prices, where farmers' wives who were needed at home had to go out to work. Even some farmers took part-time jobs. Then they set up maybe side businesses to try and keep going and fund the farm. But on top of that, we had subsidies that originally came from Europe. Now they come from Westminster. Those are still the same as they were since 2003. So in real terms, when you put inflation on, their value is now halved. So that is a bad story to start with. And then the second corner of the boxing ring, if we go in a clockwise direction, is accelerated climate change. Many will remember that a big chunk of GB got burnt up last year, and crops in some cases were down by as much as 40%. And then from January, as you will remember from the weather forecasts, it virtually rained every day from the 1st of January right through to April. So farmers are now in the fields working 24/7, trying to get caught up and get their spring work done to get it to where it needs to be. So accelerated climate change is now with us and giving us all sorts of problems. Then we come to the third pillar of the boxing ring, and we have inheritance tax and the other taxes that this merciless chancellor has levied on farmers. And I mean, it just amounts to persecution where we are at the minute. And then you have the fourth pillar of the boxing ring. And the fourth pillar takes us to fuel and fertiliser and other inputs that have escalated in price now. And to answer your question, no, the processors and others have made minuscule donations in the farmers' direction, which is really like spitting in the wind.
William,
so we do have a solution, but we'll come to that.
Yeah. Are you concerned that we're heading to severe food inflation here in Britain? Because it's something that I'm very worried about. Of course, a lot of the world's fertiliser also comes out as a product of the oil that comes from the Strait of Hormuz, but also directly from the Strait of Hormuz as well. How much do we rely on that here in Britain? And what are the solutions, William, if there are any at all?
Well, look, when you talk about what comes through the Strait of Hormuz, you need to remember that we're talking about what comes our way to these islands, but then other people are trying to get supplies out of there to help their countries out. The problem is, I think, as I understand it, for example, a lot of our oil and gas maybe comes from Norway today, and you think, well, we should be okay. And of course, we don't have the North Sea producing what it could. But then the problem for the Norwegians are others are after their oil and gas, which again leaves us on the back foot. So it's not a good story any which way you take it. And
it's not good.
The best farmers can do is deal with the lot they've got. But as I explained, they're in a boxing ring and getting hit on all sides. And this is not working between some farmers considering not planting, others deciding to leave the industry. I think we were on losing 2% of our farmers a year up until the last couple of years. And with inheritance tax and other things, I would say that's now accelerated. I haven't heard that figure updated, but it's not a good story.
William, very briefly, what can we do? What can the government do to help farmers at this point in time?
Well, what would be an enormous help at this time is what's called a UK-wide farm welfare bill. Now, if this was taken forward as an emergency bill, it would mean that farmers would have to be paid a minimum of the true cost of production plus a margin inflation linked for their produce. Now, that would ramp up over a 2-year period, but the fact that that bill would be put through as an emergency bill and it's oven ready and ready to go would mean that banks would stand in and fill the gap to let farmers get caught up. Now, this would make a terrific difference to every farmer across the UK. And it is literally an emergency that this bill would be taken forward. And it is called the UK-wide Farm Welfare Bill.
Indeed.
And the reason... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, was there a final, some other solution that you had that you could offer the British people some hope, perhaps, William?
Well, look, everything stems back to the farm. You know, I heard it said many years ago that any country has only two things that makes its wealth, and one is energy, such as the fuel that we're all had been used to coming out of the North Sea and other things, and there's a whole other story to be told on that side of it, which we'll not go into tonight, but that will keep for another time very shortly. But the key is two things make wealth: energy and a good agricultural base. And if you sacrifice either one of those, your country is in big trouble. So that's exactly where we are headed. And therefore, this, excuse the pun, ship has to be turned around as a matter of emergency.
Well, William Taylor, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate your candour. Farmers for Action there, William Taylor, really appreciate it. And of course, we'll keep you updated on the latest. That it's not looking good for Britain. That's all I can say. Thank you for joining me, William. The Department for Food, Environment, what should I say this right? DEFRA, Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, has said it expected no change to food availability, given war in Iran, of course, is adding that it would monitor increases in fertiliser and oil prices and be ready to act to protect rural communities. It says we are taking seriously the Iran war's possible impact on the food and farming sector. We will meet and continue to meet with the NFU and stakeholders to gather information on the efforts of the conflict on the industry. It added, meanwhile, HM Treasury spokesperson said, we've listened to farmers and raised the relief threshold to 2.5 million to protect small family farms and businesses, while ensuring the largest estates make a fair contribution so we can deliver support for families and businesses, including cutting the cost of living. All right, look, coming up... I mean, I'd say what's going on there, but I think you might be able to tell. But before that, look, the front page is quite damning. Angela Rayner here on the Daily Mail saying this bombshell here. It's now or never to kick out Keir. And that's not the only front page that's damning for Keir Starmer. And I'll show you that if you stay with me in just 2 minutes' time.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
A big talking point across southern Europe at the moment is just how warm it is for the time of year across parts of Portugal, Spain and France. We do have some showers affecting the Canary Islands, but it's the showers with that heat in Iberia that are turning heavy and thundery, starting to ease as we go through tomorrow and into next week. Dry for many parts around the central Med, with the showery rain affecting Greece at the moment, clearing away towards the east, and there's more fine, dry, warm weather to come for many as we go into next week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. High pressure holding on over the course of the rest of the weekend, though we will see increasing amounts of cloud, but it should largely stay dry. And looking at the bigger picture, high pressure anchored to the north of the UK, but extending its influence across many parts. We have seen some low cloud across the northeast of the UK today. This will sink its way southwards and move inland as we move overnight as well, but also some cloud trying to push in from the west. So overall tonight, generally a bit more cloud around, but under the clear skies we could see temperatures fall close to freezing and a touch of frost first thing for those up early enough. So Sunday morning, generally a bit of a grey start in places, but hazy sunshine too. If we look at the details for Scotland, a few showers are possible across the Western Isles and the Highlands as well, but elsewhere some sunny spells. Some sunny spells and 1 or 2 showers for Northern Ireland. And a fresh start across northern England with some fog patches, low cloud in the east extending down towards East Anglia. Elsewhere, generally a sunny start, though the sunshine quite hazy in places. Any fog patches soon clearing. And then through the day on Sunday, we'll generally stay dry across England and Wales. Perhaps an afternoon shower is possible, but some hazy spells of sunshine, largely dry for Northern Ireland. Again, just the odd shower, but showers a little more frequent across central and northern parts of Scotland. Here, temperatures 14, 15 Celsius. In the best of the sunshine, lifting again to around 19, 20, possibly 21 degrees. Looking at Monday, some mist and fog again to start the day. A few showers across Scotland once more, and then generally dry across England and Wales through the day. Best of the sunshine holding on across southern parts of the UK. A few showers developing into the afternoon across the north and the east. And high pressure staying nearby through the week means it looks largely dry and settled and temperatures above average.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Oh dear. It is not looking good for Keir Starmer on the front pages today. Let me bring you 2 of the biggest ones we've got so far. The Telegraph here. Prime Minister's failure to disclose United States meeting broke code of conduct. That's right, so Sir Keir Starmer's briefing with Mandelson Klein was not logged in the official register. That is not good for a man who's already being accused of breaking the ministerial code on other matters by opposition parties, is it? Let's go to the Mirror. Order Andrew to give evidence. I think they've been calling this for a really long time, but it's just not going to happen. Sorry, Daily Mail, it's not going to happen. Sunday Express. Red Arrow jets must be British. I think this was a story that's been going on for a while, that we're going to buy some Russian jets or something. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The Sun lead, of course, on the fallout from I'm a Celeb. Pack of vultures. Jimmy says, Ant and Dex stitched me up. I don't know. I didn't watch it, but there we go. The Daily Mail. Rayner, it's now or never to kick out Keir. This is a bombshell dropped on the Prime Minister's head on a week where he's about to face even more scrutiny and even more select committee hearings. Let me get my thoughts of the panel here in the room, but let me just read a little bit here. So PM faces crunch sleaze vote. Former deputy plots her number 10 pushed with allies. This is Glenn Owen and Dan Hodges here. Angela Rayner has reportedly told Labour MPs it is now or never to kick out Keir. This is quite bombshell stuff if it's true, of course. It's a front page, so you never know. But we do know that Angela Rayner's on manoeuvres. Of course, if you were with me last weekend, we saw the alleged meeting was being broken online between Andy Burnham and Angela Rayner last week. So maybe things are developing quite quickly. William, they just want rid of him now, don't they?
They clearly do, but the problem is none of them can really replace him, and I'll tell you why. We have a lot of discussions in these circles and in the media about Keir Starmer, when he's going to go, if he's going to go. I actually don't think he will, and I'll give you a reason why. First of all, there's virtually no one who can take over from him. Rayner's tax affairs are not sorted yet. Streeting was too close to Mandelson. Ed Miliband is electorally, impossible to sell. Mahmood's too right-wing for the Parliamentary Labour Party and the actual members of the Labour Party. So, quite frankly, who's going to replace Keir Starmer?
There's one person you haven't said.
Go on then.
Ed Miliband.
Well, I did say mention Ed Miliband.
Oh, you did? So what was your worry about Ed Miliband? Sorry, I missed it.
Ed Miliband lost a general election in 2015.
Right.
How could they sell to voters? Oh, you remember that guy who you didn't vote for in 2015? Guess what? He's now Prime Minister, and also he's a net zero fanatic.
Yeah, well, I think the Labour Party is stuck, though, aren't they? Because, Aisha, as you know, the Prime Minister is the most unpopular PM in history on record, at least. I think William's given some good reasons as to why. Do you think your chances might change as a party if Angela Rayner was Prime Minister?
I think there are people that still like Angela, but again, she's not been in frontline politics now for a while, and as they say, a week is a long time in politics. And
a day these days is a long time in politics, seemingly.
An hour. And I do feel that if this is true, and this is what Angela has said about, you know, Keir Starmer, that kind of there has to be a deadline and he has to go. Given what's going on in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to have news coming in of, you know, results, and that's going to actually either drive that nail home in the coffin, or it's going to give him a reprieve. And right now, genuinely, as a Labour Party member, as a Labour Party activist and a voter, there are massive question marks. We just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, this is the thing, Daniel. Angela Rayner is probably the most popular of them, particularly with the Labour Party left, which is the people who really control the party now. A lot of those people there want to see a shift for the Labour Party to take on the Greens and take on the other left-wing, even Lib Dems, for example. Do people care enough about her tax affairs to stop her becoming Prime Minister?
To be honest with you,
we might because we're politically biased.
Possibly, but I think there's a bit of strategy going on here. I think that they are basically watching out for the Greens, effectively. I think they are trying to manoeuvre as best they possibly can to prepare for the onslaught with what's about to come. So I think this is. I think it's good timing, first of all, or terrible timing, depending on how you see it. But I do think that he's on borrowed time, and I think that, you know, collectively with all the... How many U-turns are we on now? 18?
I think
19?
it's, so depending on what you believe a U-turn is, I would say it's about 17, but some people quite less, or 16 I think is the minimum.
So can I just say also, obviously, the fact that whoever was responsible for this, the fact that Andy Burnham was not allowed to stand in the Gorton Denton election could well prove to be a massive own goal, because, like Will pointed out, there are so many people, but are they enough to get Labour elected? Are they enough to see us through? Because obviously we're talking about the sort of elections in a couple of weeks, but also we have elections the next year, the year after, and then we've got a general election.
Of course you do. You're going to have constant elections in Britain. But I guess this is the thing. Keir Starmer's lost all that power and control now, hasn't he? He's lost all that political will. It's gone. And Angela Rayner's here saying, look, if you don't get rid of this bloke now, he'll rally round. He's at Chequers this weekend. Apparently they're writing the King's Speech. Lies. I think that's
ChatGPT's doing it.
I think they're plotting how to save this man, because there are people whose political futures reside on this staying as it is. I will name them who I think they are, William. Rachel Reeves. Wes Streeting, Shabana Mahmood, just to name three of them. Those three people, quite powerful people, if there's a Rayner government, they are gone. They're gone. They're completely gone, backwash to the back, aren't they?
And every single reform they've tried to push through is also in the bin immediately, right? But one thing that I don't think is mentioned enough, and I'll mention it today, we've all kind of forgotten who Keir Starmer is, I think. Keir Starmer, let's remember when he ran for Labour leadership, he was the heir to Corbyn, I'm going to keep all these promises, purged everything Corbyn did for the Labour Party and purged all those promises, and then ruthlessly took power and then won an election.
Who does it remind you of in history?
If he was ruthless enough to do that, in order to get into power, imagine how ruthless he's going to be in order to try and stay in power. And you've seen that with the Andy Burnham stuff, you've seen it with the Ollie Robbins stuff, and my God, we're going to see more of that in the future. So, you know, buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy, you know, you're not in Kansas anymore.
No, look, I mean, listen, you have to give the man credit. He has hung on longer than Boris. I think Boris really suffered through it, but he was gone a lot quicker. And I think that gives the Tories some credit. At least they have the spine to get rid of their biggest political winner. I mean, Boris was a winner at the end of the day, and say, do you know what, the mood of the country's moved on. We have to give the Tories credit for that. I just wonder whether Labour MPs are going to see the same light at the end of the tunnel. They had Rishi Sunak. Does Labour have that clear succession? We'll find out, won't we? Anyway, look, coming up, The Observer is saying this: rejoin. A decade on, the taboo is broken. They're just insufferable, these people. We'll see you shortly.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Tamta, thank you not only for joining us, but for bringing examples of your amazing work, because I think the easiest way for you to describe what you do, because I read that you value things not for how they look, but for the messages they give and the stories that they tell. So tell me about what you do with silk and how you get those stories across.
Well, it's very important, first of all, to say hello.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here again. And what's important for me to mention that I really challenge the status quo of luxury. I really believe that luxury is no longer of owning a product, but what emotional resonance it gives you. And that was the heart of Quintet. With our creations, you have no limits to what you can include in your artworks. Your dreams can truly come true here, so maybe I can show you one of the arts that we had ordered for Paul.
Who is Paul? What does Paul do? I mean, well, Paul clearly plays chess. He flies a lot. Can we see? I don't know if we can actually see this. If we can hold it up.
Yes, sure.
He's got a motorbike. He travels. He likes to drink. And as I say, he plays chess and he travels.
He likes Newcastle United as well. He likes, I think, Art Deco style period. That's why the fonts we chose. He likes red wine, and I think actually the motorbike, it's his dream. So your dreams can truly come true on these pieces. This is actually pocket square bandana, so it can be worn for men, it can be framed. What's beautiful about our creations that we can actually, many people frame them.
Yes.
And there is no monument in the world that we have drawn yet. Everything we have drawn, and every breed of the animal.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I've got some more front pages before we get onto that bombshell Sunday Telegraph article. Let's start with the Times. It looks like someone might have been on the phone to them here. Prime Minister, I will fight the next election. Well, you might want to, mate. I don't really know whether it's your choice at this point. The Independent, Prime Minister, a negative on the doorstep, same as. Again, sort of obvious, really, isn't it? But there we go. The Observer, rejoin, a decade on, the taboo is broken. Get over it, you losers. Get over it. You lost. Give it up. We're not going back. It doesn't matter how many Observer, Guardian front pages there are. Not going to happen. The Daily Star. I'm a celebrity host. Get me out of here quick. Yeah, that was... I don't know if you've seen the clips of this online, but it looked like an episode of Jeremy Kyle, if you ask me. All right, look, I want to return to the front page of the Sunday Telegraph because this was quite a bombshell that dropped on my desk a few moments ago. Prime Minister's failure to disclose United States meeting broke code of conduct. Now, this is a totally separate allegation to the vetting scandal we're all about here. This is the front page of the Sunday Telegraph. Sir Keir Starmer's briefing with Mandelson client was not logged in the official register. And this is saying Sir Keir Starmer has been accused of breaking the ministerial code for not declaring a meeting with a client with, guess who? Lord Mandelson's lobbying firm. No wonder why reports from Guido Fawkes suggest that Number 10 are so tempted to delay the release of the next batch of the Mandelson files, because I wonder what's in all these emails. Daniel, have we just been completely blindsided by the Labour Party and their sleaze and scandal?
I think it's just one thing after the next, isn't it? It's like the man of code is breaking the code. Like, I mean, it's almost like a riddle. Like, what is going on here? It's scandalous. It's crazy that he's doing this. Absolutely mad.
Yeah, I mean, I just think for me, it's the fact that Mandelson's evolved again.
Yeah.
You can't make it up. I mean, how much damage can one man do?
Yeah, he's still schooling us from behind the benches here. It's crazy. What's going on? It's unbelievable.
I mean, it's bad, isn't it? I mean, you know, there's been so many allegations aimed at how close Keir Starmer was. I know there was an allegation last week that there was a text message exchange between Keir Starmer and Mandelson that says, "Can't wait to work with you," despite the fact the Prime Minister said he never spoke to him. There's a lot of water under the bridge here, isn't there?
I think whenever Peter Mandelson's name is mentioned, there's always some kind of controversy, something dodgy is about to come out or has happened. But in this instant, I do feel that it wasn't described as a meeting by 10 Downing Street, and it probably wasn't. But obviously, we don't know. Genuinely don't know. And in any case, if there was a meeting, it would have been handled by his office, and they would have put it in the register as per the required.
Well, let me just read what this story says here. Downing Street claims the event was not a meeting. How can you have a meeting that's not a meeting? You know, it's like a sandwich is not a sandwich, and therefore does not require official declaration. However, this is important. Ministry of Defence officials who also attended described it as a meeting. Why would Ministry of Defence officials be at any gathering with the Prime Minister and Lord Mandelson and his lobbying firm, William? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And the reason this kind of stuff hits the front page is the reason it cuts through so much is because, as Daniel said, this is the man of procedure and process who always seems to be caught up in these scandals. Yeah. And also, he can't come across as cleaner than clean. More, you know, no one loves the process quite as much as he does, while endlessly he is friends with people and does things that endlessly break procedure and process. And actually, to be quite frank with you, when we look back in this in the future, we're going to be seeing Mandelson's dirty little fingers all over this government because he's actually going to be seen as a core reason why this government has failed and lost public trust.
This is it, right? I haven't got time, but we will talk about it next because you're coming back, aren't you? Loads more news to bring you. We will dig into these headlines because I think there's more than meets the eye here. That's next on Alex Armstrong Tonight. But first, we're going to get a quick look at your weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. High pressure holding on over the course of the rest of the weekend, though we will see increasing amounts of cloud, but it should largely stay dry. And looking at the bigger picture, high pressure anchored to the north of the UK, but extending its influence across many parts. We have seen some low cloud across the northeast of the UK today. This will sink its way southwards and move inland as we move overnight as well, but also some cloud trying to push in from the west. So overall tonight, generally a bit more cloud around, but under the clear skies we could see temperatures fall close to freezing and a touch of frost first thing for those up early enough. So Sunday morning, generally a bit of a grey start in places, but hazy sunshine too. If we look at the details for Scotland, a few showers are possible across the Western Isles and the Highlands as well, but elsewhere some sunny spells. Some sunny spells and 1 or 2 showers for Northern Ireland. And a fresh start across northern England with some fog patches, low cloud in the east extending down towards East Anglia. Elsewhere, generally a sunny start, though the sunshine quite hazy in places. Any fog patches soon clearing. And then through the day on Sunday, we'll generally stay dry across England and Wales. Perhaps an afternoon shower is possible, but some hazy spells of sunshine, largely dry for Northern Ireland. Again, just the odd shower, but showers a little more frequent across central and northern parts of Scotland. Here, temperatures 14, 15 Celsius. In the best of the sunshine, lifting again to around 19, 20, possibly 21 degrees. Looking at Monday, some mist and fog again to start the day. A few showers across Scotland once more, and then generally dry across England and Wales through the day. Best of the sunshine holding on across southern parts of the UK. A few showers developing into the afternoon across the north and the east. And high pressure staying nearby through the week means it looks largely dry and settled, and temperatures above average.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Well, here you go, the Sunday Telegraph, another bloodbath for the Prime Minister. PM's failure to disclose US meeting broke the ministerial code. And that's what the Sunday Telegraph are saying. That's, of course, separate to the allegation he broke the code over the vetting scandal. The Sunday Times are saying that the PM's going to fight the next election. But the Daily Mail says Rayner says it's time to get rid of Keir now or never. The front pages are a total mess for the Prime Minister. We'll be digging into them next.
It's the final week to see how you could win our biggest prize of the year so far. You could be driving away with your very own 4-berth camper van. This Benny Van 122 could give you the perfect getaway this year. We'll also give you an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash. Lines close on the 1st of May, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you. Bulletins on GB News,
the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Alex Armstrong, and this is Alex Armstrong Tonight's Late Edition.
And people always say to me, do you want to be Prime Minister? Not a chance, it'll age me by 10 years within 6 months.
And it has.
It does. Anyone who's been Prime Minister, it is a very challenging job.
Yeah, right. Well, this is what Angela Rayner is saying on the front page of the Daily Mail, apparently. It's now or never to kick out Keir. That is allegedly the message from the